Welcome to PrimeScoreX. In this video, we are going to break down how to set your ATI TEAS 7 target score in a clear, practical, exam-focused way. The goal is not to overload you with isolated facts. The goal is to help you understand what this topic means on the ATI TEAS 7, why it affects your score, and how to handle it with calm, repeatable execution. This topic matters because it changes how you prepare and how you make decisions during the exam. A target score should come from your program requirements, baseline performance, timeline, and the safety buffer you need to test with confidence. By the end of this video, you should have a cleaner mental model, a stronger study routine, and a more controlled way to respond when this issue appears in practice or on test day. Start with the essential facts. Different nursing programs may set different score expectations. A baseline score shows your starting point. These details are not background decoration. They shape your pacing, your practice design, and the way you protect points under timed conditions. When the exam feels stressful, clear structure gives your brain something stable to follow. The next layer is how the detail behaves inside the real exam experience. A target gap tells you how much improvement is needed. A buffer protects against test day variation. If you prepare only by reading notes, this part can still surprise you. If you train with the structure in mind, the same information becomes predictable and manageable. A strong approach begins with 2 core ideas. First, use school requirements before generic advice. Second, separate minimum from competitive target. These ideas keep you from treating the TEAS like a random collection of questions. Instead, you start to see a system, what the test is asking, how the clock changes behavior, and where students usually lose easy points. There is also a useful contrast to remember. Make the target measurable by domain. Track whether scores are stable, not just high ones. The weaker version feels busy, but does not always raise your score. The stronger version creates evidence, what you know, what slows you down, what repeats, and what needs a targeted fix before the next practice set. Use a simple method instead of improvising. Step 1, confirm the program requirement. Step 2, take a baseline assessment. These first 2 moves slow the situation down just enough to create control, without turning the question or the study session into a long analysis exercise. Then continue the method. Step 3, calculate the gap by domain. Step 4, set a target plus buffer. This is where most improvement happens, because you move from recognition to execution. You are not just saying, I understand the topic. You are proving that you can apply it correctly under TEAS-style pressure. The first trap is choosing a goal without checking the program. This usually happens when a student moves too quickly, trusts a familiar-looking answer, or skips the instruction line. The fix is to pause long enough to identify the exact task before committing to the response. The second trap is aiming only for the minimum with no buffer. This trap is dangerous because it feels like effort. You may be reading, calculating, or reviewing, but not in a way that changes the answer. A better move is to define the decision, make the best supported choice, and protect the rest of the section. Practice should be measurable. Begin with baseline testing. Do not simply ask whether the material feels familiar. Ask what your performance shows. Accuracy, time control, mistake type, and whether the same weakness appears again after review. Next, add realism with weekly score tracking. Timed practice changes your behavior in ways untimed practice cannot. It reveals where you overthink, where you rush, and where your process breaks when the question is not presented exactly the way you expected. The third practice move is domain-specific goal review. Pattern tracking is what turns mistakes into strategy. If you miss one question, that is a result. If you miss the same type of question again and again, that is a signal. Your study plan should respond to the signal, not just the score. Finally, use stability checks across practice sets. Retesting is important because review can create a false feeling of mastery. The real question is whether you can apply the fix later, with a new question, without seeing the answer first. That is when learning becomes score movement. When you review, name the exact error. One common issue is ignoring weak sections, because the total looks acceptable. Do not write a vague note like, I need to study more. Write the real cause. Was it timing, vocabulary, unit control, Evidence, sequence, calculation, or misreading the prompt. Specific errors create specific fixes. Another common issue is changing plans without new performance data. The solution is not to feel bad about the miss. The solution is to replace the habit. Create one rule you will use next time. Then test that rule on a small set of new questions before moving on to a full section. Here's the memory cue: requirement, baseline, gap, buffer. Keep it short enough to use during practice and during the exam. A good cue does not explain everything. It points your attention to the next right action when time pressure, fatigue, or uncertainty starts to build. The final takeaway is this: a strong target score turns anxiety into a measurable plan. If you make the process repeatable, the topic becomes less intimidating and much more useful. Do not chase perfection in one question. Build a system that protects points across the entire exam. Study smarter, score your best,